Because how important is great leadership in our culture? You know, you could do a lot of study on that and look back, for literally centuries and see how leadership impacted culture, both in negative ways and certainly in very, very positive ways. So we like to talk a lot about leadership because this broadcast is really more about you discovering really what you're designed to do and then becoming the person, the best version of yourself, the person that can have that and can accomplish that. And certainly leadership is a big, big piece. So when I was thinking about leadership this morning, I was just going back in my mind, and this isn't scientific at all, but I was thinking, in my experience, I remember, different leaders having different styles. I've had leaders that simply led from authority, right? And we all need to lead with authority of some sense, but they led almost strictly with authority. What I mean by that is their leadership was predicated on a position or on a title. In other words, okay, you have to do this. You have to accomplish this goal. You have to get these numbers by this certain date because I'm the boss, right? Because I'm the boss, or I'm saying that you have to do this. And so people are being led out of authority. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but it's just one way that people lead. I've seen other people lead strictly from intellect. We certainly all want to have intellect in our leadership, but again, primarily through intellect. In other words, they were just the smartest person in the room. I know more, and so follow me. And that, honestly, that kind of makes sense. You want to follow the person that can get you out of the woods if you're lost. But I've also seen another style of leadership that primarily I think is most effective. And it's what I want to talk about this morning. And it's leading from the heart. I'm not saying leading without intellect, and I'm not saying leading without any level of authority, but I'm saying the primary drive, the primary intention of your personal leadership style is leading from the heart. Here's what was said of Ronald Reagan. When he passed, this was said of him. It said, "Our country will never forget his awesome contribution. For now and years, he will be remembered as a president who," catch this, "who loved his country and inspired all of us to be better." Now, to me, that is dynamic leadership. For your legacy to be, he loved his country and he inspired everyone else to be better. That's what I'm talking about. It's leading from the heart. It's leading because you truly care. So what is leading from the heart? And again, that's just my definitions, okay? And there's probably better definitions out there. But to me, it's leading through serving. It's not about me. It's not about my goals. It's not about my wins. It's not about my dreams. It's not about me sitting somewhere in an office and everyone looking at me and saying, "Wow, what a great leader." But it's getting out there, rolling your sleeves up, doing whatever it takes to help other people win. The greatest leaders, they still have the brooms in their hands. You know what I'm talking about? The greatest leaders don't move away from the activities that really drive the business. They're out there doing it, and they're doing it primarily underneath other people, and they're helping other people win. It's through serving. Leading from the heart is building relationships. Catch this. Building relationships whether or not they benefit you. Networking. Not because it benefits you. Networking because you really care about other people. You're asking questions because you really want to know. So maybe you can be of benefit or be a blessing to someone else. That's leading from the heart. Leading from the heart is leading with the best interest of your organization in mind. It's a filter. When you make decisions, when you make tough calls, when you set an agenda, when you create the culture or the structure, you're thinking what's in the best interest of the organization. What's in the best interest of the person on the other end of the line? You don't go in with, okay, what's a win for me? It's what's a win for this person, and it fleshes out in a very practical decision by decision type of way, but that's leading from the heart. What is in the best interest of the person on the other end of this text message? Am I just trying to win? Am I jockeying for position? Am I just trying to be right or win an argument? Or do I really have this person's best interest in mind? That's leading from the heart. It's also speaking truth, right? So I'm not saying that leading from the heart is being soft. I'm not saying leading from the heart means you never have a position. As a matter of fact, you have to have very strong convictions and a very strong position because you truly care about the success of other people. I'll never forget. It was probably right at 10 years ago, and I was about to assume a leadership position. And I was talking to a gentleman, he was probably maybe 10 years older than me. And we were talking about leadership, and he was giving me advice on how to lead effectively, and not just in the short term, but long term, how to build a culture that would stand the test of time. And he said, when you think about leadership, and I want you to think about this with me, okay? He said, I want you to picture a brick in your mind. So do that right now. Just picture a brick, a hard, solid brick. He said, you have to be a brick in leadership. In other words, you have to have conviction. You have to know what you believe. You have to see a vision and drive toward it regardless of what anyone says. If you know it's the right thing for the organization, you have to be strong. You have to have that brick mentality. He said, but now that you have the brick in your mind, he said, I want you to take velvet. He said, I want you to wrap that brick with velvet. He said, the most effective leadership is the leadership of a velvet brick. What do you mean by that? Be strong, be passionate, be convicted, but always present in love. Present a very strong position, but with a soft disposition, a soft language. You can lead very strong with a hug. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that sounds cliche and mushy to you, but I'm talking about leadership that works. A velvet brick, speaking truth, having a position, but doing it out of a heart and emotion that I really care about the person and the organization that I'm leading. Now, let me give you a couple of truths about leading from the heart, and pretty much we'll wrap this up, but a couple of truths that you'll need to know. Number one, leading from the heart is always risky. It's always risky. And a lot of leaders, you'll see them separate emotionally. You'll see them disconnect emotionally. Why is that? Probably because they've been hurt before. They invested in someone and that person burned them. They spent time. They believed. They spoke faith. But at the end of the day, that person hurt them and left and maybe took a bunch of people with them. Right? And so now they're jaded and they're saying, hey, I'll never lead that way again. People are just numbers and they disconnect. It's risky to lead from the heart. Because here's the fact. People will disappoint you. Anybody ever been disappointed? Anybody ever been hurt by someone that you cared about? By someone that you invested in? Anybody out there ever been hurt? Absolutely you have. People will disappoint you. They'll leave. They'll do things behind your back. They'll speak against you. And all you've done is just poured into them. And if you're emotionally involved, friends, it will hurt. Every time it will hurt. It's risky. But catch this. And we mentioned this on yesterday's broadcast. There is nothing great or worthy in this world without risk. Nothing. There is nothing worthy or great to be had in this world without risk. It just comes with it. And I'm telling you, truth number two, it's worth it. Is it risky? Absolutely. But is it worth it? Absolutely. And there are names that came on this broadcast that I recognize the usernames. There are people on here. I know you lead from the heart. I see it every day in your organizations. I see it in your social media profiles. I see it in the way you interact with the people on your teams. And you will say amen with me on this. You'll say amen that, yeah, it was risky and yeah, it hurt, but I'd do it again. I would do it again every single time because it's worth it. Friends, people are moved by the idea that someone truly cares. People are moved by the idea that maybe for the first time in their life, that someone really is invested in them and wants them to be successful. There are people in your organization right now, people in your company, in your sphere of influence, in your circle where you have leadership. Right now, they go through every single day of their life and they feel like no one really cares about who they are, where they're going, and what they want to accomplish in life. Trust me on that. They have 2 or 3, 4 kids at home. They serve them all day. They wash clothes. They clean the house. They pick up their socks. They cook them meals. And even though they love the kids and know the kids love them, they feel so underappreciated and taken advantage of, right? Taken for granted. There are men and women that go to work every single day and feel like they give their very best, but it's never noticed and they're underappreciated. But yet they keep on going. What if that person were in your organization or in your sphere of influence, and for the first time in 10 years, you came to them, someone came to them and said, hey, talk to me about where you want to go in this thing. Give me your biggest dreams. And then let's find a way for me to help you. First of all, they're going to wonder if you're real. Right? Because no one else treats them like that. No one else asks them those questions. It's always, do this for me. Go here, do this for me. Get this for me. Give me this. And finally, someone is saying, hey, how can I serve you? How can I bless you? How can I benefit you? And friends, catch this. It's worth it. That level of investment is worth it because they will move mountains for someone that cares about them. Even if their goals weren't that big coming in, they will take their goals and they'll blow them up 10 times and they will run an extra mile plus the next mile to do anything that you felt needed to be done simply because you're the one person in their life that cares. You're the one person in their life that speaks life into them, that isn't sapping everything out of them. Everybody else just pulls and makes withdrawals, and you're the one that's making deposits. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about leading from the heart. Here's another thing that leading from the heart will do in your organization. You will develop a culture of loyalty. Not with everybody. Some people are just going to leave. But if you invest in people, invest in their life, invest in their kids, just invest in that person. Catch this. You'll develop a culture of loyalty and people will stay with you long term. They'll stay with you long term. In a lot of organizations where there's very, very high turnover, it has nothing to do with the company, has nothing to do with the products, it has nothing to do with corporate leadership. It comes down to the one person they're looking to for personal leadership. Do they feel connected to that person? Did they feel connected at the heart to that person? Because it's never about your products. It's never about your compensation plan. Honestly, most of the times it's not even about the amount of money they're making. It's what did they feel and what did they get out of your personal leadership. And if you're investing in people, you'll develop a culture of loyalty and people will stay with you for years, not because of a product, but they can't imagine doing life without you. Friends, that's leading from the heart. It's absolutely worth it. And the final thing is, there'll be real value in your work. There will be real value in your leadership. You can go home at night and yeah, the numbers are numbers. I understand we've got to do the numbers. But at the end of the day, if you'll lead from your heart, you'll create true significance in your work and everything you do. Real value. Guys, there's several ways to lead, but I'm going to challenge somebody. Think today, am I leading from the heart? I know I love my organization. I know I love my people, but do they know how much I love them? Do they know how much I care for them? Do they really understand how much I think about them? Do they really know how much I want them to win and what I'd be willing to do to help them be successful? And just go make that happen. Maybe it's a 15-second text that say, hey, I just want you to know I appreciate this and this and this about you. Maybe it's a 45-second phone call where we say, hey, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you today. I want you to know I want to serve you today. I'm not asking anything from you, but I'm saying I'm willing to give any of my time to you to help you be successful today. By the way, how's your kids? How's your family? It's leading from the heart. There'll be so much value in what you're doing, and you'll change so many lives. Guys, thank you for being on the best you this morning. I know we're a little shaky with the picture. I was trying to hold this. I'm going to find a better way to do it. We'll be back Monday morning with the best you. Again, this is the coolest environment. And thank you for all the love with all the bubbles. You're helping us out, getting us on the top. Hey, share this with your friends if you would. Share it in your organization. We're always neutral. We never push a company, anything like that. It's just hopefully good information. You're welcome, guys. Thank you for being on. We love you. Hey, have a great weekend out there. Go win. Go do your thing. But hey, make sure you're having a lot of fun in the process. Find somebody